Hello friends, welcome to Block Bytes. Today I'm very excited to talk about why crypto will not only exist, but will be needed by the world. Sounds intriguing? Let's find out why. Before I explain my point, let me create a background to provide context. We all have our understanding of crypto, blockchain, and Web3. Most of us consider crypto an alternative asset class for investment and trading. Still, those who have built this space share a much deeper purpose. Blockchain technology is not new. It existed before crypto came about. But Bitcoin's innovation led to the birth of this new industry. Bitcoin provided a solution to a problem that prevented blockchains from becoming mainstream. As part of this solution, a new asset called Bitcoin arose, which exists without using traditional finance, regulatory, and governmental institutes. Using Bitcoin as a stepping stone, smart contracts took this technology forward, allowing for programmability on top of assets. This means you can now do a lot more with your assets besides simply buying and selling. As the space expanded, non-financial applications started to appear. NFTs, social media, and several decentralized infrastructure applications like storage and compute environments began to appear. We are now at a stage where the crypto ecosystem is as broad as the different use cases it caters to, as it is deep in the options available for each use case. This entire ecosystem of applications built using smart contracts that run on blockchains is called Web3. Now, the obvious question that arises is this: what is unique about blockchains? And by extension, why should you care about them? You see, the innovation that is Bitcoin and the subsequent developments on top of it have created an alternative to the existing Web2 world. Bitcoin and crypto rest on decentralization, transparency, and trust minimization pillars. This means that as a user, you do not have to put your trust in any third party, as the system does what it is intended to do. In Web2, there are centralized players like big tech, regulators, governments, and all sorts of intermediaries you must trust with your data and assets. Let's take an example to understand this. We all trust banks to keep our money safe, the media to question corruption, and governments to help citizens. But the most egregious human right violation happened recently when the Canadian government mercilessly crushed a protest by the country's farmers. Not only did they physically assault them, they froze their bank accounts, took control of their assets, and forced the media to censor them. This can happen if you put too much trust in centralized authorities. Now, something like this is impossible in Web3. No one can forcibly control your assets or bank accounts, which we call wallets, as long as you own them. And no one can stop your voice from being heard. And it is this user control that differentiates Web2 from Web3. In Web3, you own your assets. Now, assets are your money in tokens and your data. Data could be your identity, social media, or anything that you do on Web3. Let me go to the point I wanted to make in this video. Given the state of the world right now, is there a growing need for people to have control over their future? Absolutely. Look at how divided the world is today. You can be jailed for just having a different point of view. You can be censored simply by not doing the narrative. And you could lose your future to those in power. Not only that, but with the growth of AI, there will be a new dimension to this problem soon. How can you ensure that you have financial stability in the future? How can you ensure that as an artist, your work is not stolen? How do you ensure the news you get is correct? And how can you ensure your identity is used correctly? Now that you understand the context, let's tie this up with what I said earlier. I began the video by saying that crypto will not only exist, but will be needed. You can see why I said that and are probably thinking, Web 2 has its problems, and Web 3 provides a neutral and trustless alternative to it. But does this mean that I have to stop using Web 2 apps and move to Web 3? You can do that, but the majority won't. Let's face it, people do not want to change. If they're using Facebook or Google, they do not want to replace them because it is just too convenient. So, what is the way forward? Let me suggest this thought. What if there was some way in which Web 2 and Web 3 could come together? This is where things start getting exciting for me. You see, Chainlink, a gateway between Web 2 and Web 3, is working towards something called the verifiable web. They are addressing the one big question I discussed earlier. How can you ensure that the information you get is correct and not manipulated? This information could be your bank account, or your bank balance, identity, content, news, etc. Chainlink and crypto have already tackled this problem for Web3, since blockchain technology provides truthful data that cannot be tampered with. Chainlink has been working hard on this problem for some time now. Recently, they became a common name in the Web2 world of finance, with leading banks and intermediaries collaborating with it to build a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. Now, the early adopters will be financial institutions like banks because that is where there is a lot of data manipulation and a scope for improvement. Still, this verifiable web will expand and grow into other aspects as well. Let's take AI for instance. AI's ability to churn new information from existing data that may or may not be true is a perfect candidate for its integration with this verifiable web. AI could use this verifiable web as a data source to provide accurate results to its users. What about identity? How does one verify that they are indeed who they claim to be? Identity documents help, but they can be faked as well. And this is where the verifiable web can help. Cryptographically verified identity can become the source of accurate identity information for Web2 apps. Social media is another example. How can you differentiate between genuine accounts and bots? How will you get the correct information? Accounts linked to the verifiable web counterpart can be a way to distinguish between users and bots. Since crypto is already a source of truth, it can also feed information into social media. There are many other examples where this verifiable web created on top of the blockchain technology can provide the answers. As the demand for verifiability grows, so will the applications. But this will be challenging. It is clear that governments around the world hate crypto, and some would like to ban it. China has already banned it. But then some governments are mature enough to appreciate blockchain technology, like India, where its finance minister said that they are not against blockchain tech and want to use it. Regulators will have a difficulty accepting crypto, as we've already seen. But they do not have a choice as the crypto and blockchain technology are becoming more and more acceptable, especially by banks and financial companies. Big tech will also have no choice but to embrace the verifiable web to tackle the pressing issues of the time like misinformation, fake news, etc. Chainlink and crypto is the verifiable web. The cryptographically verified truth produced by these blockchains and the Chainlink network will be an unbiased source of truth for the world. All use cases that want to get the truth must interface with Chainlink. Currently, it is for banks and some very early applications like cross-country money transfer, card payments, etc. But this is just the beginning. I hope you like this video. Do like and share, and I will see you next time with another fresh bite. Bye.